people understand that you don't have to be under Golden Boy Raptor, you don't have to be under Golden Boy's company to be able to speak the truth.
It's just recently that we saw tension between two of the sport's most iconic figures, Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, where it reached a boiling point resulting in a near brawl. While the two have been quite close for years, it was only a matter of time before we got to this.
You must flee the building, you must run and hide because things are changed and it's changing. So when things change and it's changing.
Besides, we've seen the sport business break the best of relationships, that Floyd and Ellerby situation. However, the situation between Bernard and De La Hoya is quite interesting, or should we say, heated, that it has everyone with something to say.
And if you're not, you're gonna have to put your head in the sand no matter who you are. That means company of promoting or management of fighters.
With Edgar Berlanga pointing fingers at De La Hoya. The heat between Oscar and Bernard began in the aftermath of the Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Ortiz-Bohachuk fight.
You make every neighborhood, the suburbs, where everybody's making over $100,000 a year, why would they have to fight?
The fight was supposed to be a showcase for Ortiz, but instead it turned into a highly controversial bout. While Ortiz was declared the winner, many fans questioned the decision, citing questionable judging and a lackluster performance from Ortiz.
To be able to say things that he really believes, which I do, and understand without any repercussions.
Oscar De La Hoya, Ortiz's promoter, was quick to defend his fighter, taking to social media to praise Ortiz and dismiss the criticism as baseless hate. However, Bernard Hopkins, a partner in Golden Boy Promotions and a boxing legend in his own right, didn't share De La Hoya's enthusiasm. In a post-fight interview, Hopkins expressed his doubts about Ortiz's victory, hinting that the fight was much closer than the scorecard suggested.
Wait, but all I'm doing is speaking facts. You know, when I'm spitting the truth.
This difference in opinion quickly escalated behind the scenes. De La Hoya, known for his fiery temper, was reportedly furious with Hopkins for questioning Ortiz's win. De La Hoya then confronted Hopkins, accusing him of undermining the promotion and being disloyal. Hopkins, never one to back down, responded by questioning De La Hoya's integrity and his ability to manage the promotion.
Edgar Berlanga, who is fighting Canelo on September 14th. Now he claims he has a whole country behind him? Edgar, bro, you're from Brooklyn.
After this, Edgar Berlanga didn't hesitate to speak out about the De La Hoya-Hopkins clash. Berlanga, who had previous conversations about signing with Golden Boy Promotions, has quickly made a name for himself not only with his fists, but also with his unfiltered opinions. In response to all this, Berlanga criticized De La Hoya for what he sees as a serious lack of respect towards Hopkins. "Bernard's a legend, man. You don't come at him like that, especially not Oscar," Berlanga stated. "If Bernard's got something to say, you listen. This guy's done more for the sport than most people can dream of. For Oscar to go off on him like that, it's like he's forgotten who Bernard is. Bernard deserves more respect, period."
And you know it's on, baby. You know it's on.
You saw Berlanga, I believe, responded this morning. Just send a message to Berlanga.
Oh, did he say? What did he say?
Now, as the days have passed, more details about the De La Hoya-Hopkins altercation have come to light, revealing that this incident was not just a one-off disagreement, but rather the culmination of months of tension within Golden Boy Promotions. Sources close to the promotion have reported that Hopkins has been increasingly frustrated with De La Hoya's management style, particularly his focus on flashy, high-profile matchups that prioritize entertainment over the sport's integrity.
Game is over now. The best will fight the best, and that's what I always stood by.
Hopkins, who has always been a purist at heart, believes that boxing should be about skill, competition, and respect for the craft. This philosophy has often clashed with De La Hoya's more business-oriented approach, which emphasizes big money fights and social media hype. The Ortiz fight, with its controversial outcome, was the final straw for Hopkins, leading to the explosive confrontation.
Opinion is not saving boxing. Boxing survived the recession, the depression, boxing survived so many things, and until it's one way you can get boxing out of America's entertainment pastime.
As the controversy has continued to unfold, De La Hoya finally broke his silence. In a response, De La Hoya attempted to downplay the altercation with Hopkins, describing it as a passionate discussion between two people who care deeply about the sport. Bernard and I have always been passionate about boxing, and sometimes that passion leads to disagreements, De La Hoya said. But at the end of the day, we both want what's best for the fighters we represent. Bernard and I are on the same team, and will continue to work together to bring the best fights to the fans.
Good luck to him, but I'm just speaking the facts.
Thank you, Oscar.
All right, brother.
However, De La Hoya's attempt to smooth things over hasn't quelled the speculation and debate. Many fans and analysts remain skeptical of De La Hoya's words, pointing out that the tension between the two seems deeper than a simple disagreement. Berlanga too was quick to respond to De La Hoya's statement, doubling down on his earlier criticism.
Missed it, to be honest. I just heard you
You gotta
responded.
tell me what he said, because if he's talking crap about me, then I gotta come back at him.
Right, for sure.
Look, I respect what Oscar's done in the ring, but you can't just brush this off as a disagreement, Berlanga said in a follow-up reply. This is about respect, and I feel like Bernard isn't getting the respect he deserves. If Oscar really wants to make things right, he needs to start by listening to what Bernard has to say. Now, before the heat flared between Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, there was a time when De La Hoya had nothing but praise for Berlanga.
And you soft. Deep down inside, in that little heart, you soft. I just seen a thing he said, an interview. I was like, nah, this dude's crazy.
It wasn't too long ago that Oscar saw immense potential in Berlanga and was eager to bring him into the Golden Boy fold. De La Hoya had even gone as far as to tell Berlanga that he needed someone like Bernard Hopkins, a Hall of Famer and a key figure at Golden Boy, to guide him to greatness. But in a twist that now seems almost characteristic of De La Hoya's methods, the relationship between them quickly soured.
Actually, yeah, I did want to sign Berlanga, but, he went with Eddie Hearn, and good luck to him, but...
De La Hoya's interest in Berlanga was initially sparked by the young fighter's departure from his longtime promoter, Top Rank. Berlanga, a New York-born Puerto Rican super middleweight, had made waves in the boxing world by knocking out his first 16 opponents in the first round, a feat that made him one of the sport's most exciting prospects. However, as his career progressed, the knockout streak ended, and his performances started to lose some of the luster that had initially drawn so much attention.
A lot of Mexicans don't like him. A lot of Mexicans don't like him. I go to Mexico a lot. They don't like him. They like us. He's a come in Spanish in Puerto Rico. Person that eats. You know what I'm saying?
This shift led to tensions between Berlanga and Top Rank, eventually resulting in their split. Sensing an opportunity, De La Hoya stepped in, eager to sign Berlanga to Golden Boy Promotions. In interviews, De La Hoya spoke highly of Berlanga, saying that the young fighter needed to be surrounded by a team of legends like Hopkins and himself to stay focused and disciplined.
What else can I say and do? I mean, that was just the truth. I actually, I did want to sign Berlanga, but, he went with Eddie Hearn. And
I know exactly what he needs, De La Hoya said during an appearance on the DAZN boxing show. He needs Bernard Hopkins, he needs Golden Boy. He needs that type of team to keep him focused, to keep him hungry, because he's already a machine. People already love watching him. He's already selling out the theater at the Garden. De La Hoya's confidence in Berlanga seemed unshakable at the time.
At this level is intelligence and IQ. And we're not going to end up like that. I got knocked out.
He believed that with the right guidance, Berlanga could reach superstardom and have no shortage of attractive opponents under the Golden Boy banner. De La Hoya even began mapping out potential matchups for Berlanga, mentioning names like Jaime Munguia, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, and Bektemir Melikuziev as potential opponents who could help elevate Berlanga's career to new heights.
So when you leave the door open for someone else to correct decades of neglect of super fights and the best fighting the best.
But beneath the surface, De La Hoya's relationship with Berlanga began to unravel. The initial enthusiasm De La Hoya had shown towards Berlanga quickly faded, and the same pattern of behavior that had strained his relationships with other fighters began to emerge. In a striking parallel, it was similar to how De La Hoya had once lured Shakur Stevenson with praise, only to turn against him when things didn't go according to plan. Perhaps it's no surprise that even Canelo Alvarez, once Golden Boy's biggest star, eventually grew to despise De La Hoya for what he perceived as similar manipulative tactics. The breaking point came when De La Hoya began publicly criticizing Berlanga, calling into question not just his skills, but also his commitment and discipline. What was once a promising partnership dissolved into a war of words, with De La Hoya slamming Berlanga and labeling him as incompetent. Berlanga, who had initially looked up to De La Hoya and valued his advice, felt deeply betrayed.
And Oscar De La Hoya?
Oscar's crazy, bro. Oscar's trolling.
The young fighter was particularly incensed by what he saw as De La Hoya's blatant disrespect towards Bernard Hopkins, a man Berlanga admired and had hoped to work closely with. But Oscar has not been smooth with Berlanga either. As we all know, Canelo Alvarez is on the brink of yet another electrifying bout, this time against the up-and-coming Edgar Berlanga.
Just a different network. The September 14th fight has been made. Canelo Alvarez, Edgar Berlanga. A fight that nobody asked for.
Set for September 14th at the iconic T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, this fight is being hyped as a classic Mexico versus Puerto Rico rivalry, a narrative that has consistently fueled excitement and sold out arenas. With Canelo defending his WBA, WBO, and WBC super middleweight titles, the stakes couldn't be higher, and the anticipation among fans is evident.
Fans are now starting to boycott Canelo for continuing to duck you-know-who.
But not everyone is buying into the hype, especially when it comes to Berlanga's Puerto Rican identity. Oscar De La Hoya has thrown a wrench into the promotional narrative by questioning Berlanga's authenticity as a representative of Puerto Rico. De La Hoya's comments have sparked a controversy that's adding an unexpected twist to the fight's buildup. In a recent episode of his increasingly popular Clapback Thursdays series, De La Hoya didn't mince words. Edgar Berlanga. He claims he has the whole country of Puerto Rico behind him. Edgar, bro, you are from Brooklyn. I think I am more Puerto Rican than you are, and I only lived there for 6 years, De La Hoya remarked.
Now he claims he has a whole country behind him? Edgar, bro, you're from Brooklyn. I think I'm more Puerto Rican than you are, and I only lived there for 6 years.
This sharp critique didn't just question Berlanga's roots, but also subtly undermined the very premise that the fight's marketing hinges on, the fierce national rivalry between Mexico and Puerto Rico. De La Hoya's statements have opened a Pandora's box in the boxing community, where identity and national pride often play a significant role in building a fighter's brand. Berlanga, who has proudly embraced his Puerto Rican heritage, finds himself in an awkward position.
Puerto Rico doesn't claim you, bro. And as I said weeks ago, this fight will not do well on September 14th.
Born and raised in Brooklyn, Berlanga has always touted his Puerto Rican roots, a claim that resonates with many fans who see him as a bridge between two cultures. But De La Hoya's comments have cast a shadow of doubt over this identity, raising questions about what it truly means to represent a country in the world of boxing. The timing of De La Hoya's critique is particularly striking, given the high stakes of the upcoming fight. By questioning Berlanga's Puerto Rican identity, De La Hoya is not just taking a jab at Berlanga himself, but also challenging the entire promotional narrative that's driving the fight's marketing. For a fight that's relying heavily on national pride to sell tickets and pay-per-views, this kind of controversy could either backfire or add even more intrigue to the event.
And who is funding it and making it all happen? Turkey Al-Sheikh. Canelo, you're really making the wrong enemies.
De La Hoya didn't stop there. He went on to cast doubt on the fight's potential success, citing the significant competition it faces from UFC 306, which is scheduled for the same night just down the street at the MGM Grand. Puerto Rico doesn't claim you, bro, De La Hoya continued, delivering another blow to Berlanga's image. And as I said weeks ago, this fight will not go well on September 14th. His remarks suggest that De La Hoya is skeptical about Berlanga's drawing power, particularly when going head-to-head with a major UFC event.
Not only because the matchup is okay, but because they're going up against the UFC's debut at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Now that's a spectacle that everyone and their mother has been waiting to see since it opened up about a year ago.
These comments have stirred up a storm of reactions within the boxing community. Some fans and analysts have come to Berlanga's defense, arguing that his Brooklyn upbringing doesn't diminish his connection to Puerto Rico. Others, however, have added to De La Hoya's sentiments, questioning whether Berlanga truly embodies the spirit of Puerto Rican boxing.
Also, they're going up against the UFC at the Sphere. Ooh, good luck with making a splash with that one.
As the fight draws nearer, the controversy surrounding Berlanga's identity only seems to be intensifying. De La Hoya's critique has added an unexpected layer of heat to what was already a highly anticipated event. Whether this will ultimately help or hurt the fight's success remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the narrative surrounding Canelo versus Berlanga is far more complex than a simple battle between Mexico and Puerto Rico.
Canelo versus Berlanga, the rivalry.
But ever since this fight was announced, Berlanga has received criticism from it. While many fans and critics have voiced their displeasure with Canelo's decision, accusing the Mexican superstar of ducking more dangerous contenders like David Benavidez and David Morrell, Berlanga has come forward to defend the matchup. He insists that his superstar status, coupled with his Puerto Rican heritage and influence in the hip-hop culture, is precisely why Canelo chose him over other contenders.
It's like you were dying to sign me, like you even flew out to sign me. It was just kind of, you know, like telling you to get off his deed because, you know, the words you said about him. I guess he didn't like you being more Puerto Rican than him, in your opinion.
Wait, but all I'm doing is speaking facts.
This will be his first world title bout, a monumental moment for the 27-year-old from New York. Despite his impressive record and ranking as the #1 challenger by the WBA, Berlanga has faced a wave of criticism, with many arguing that Canelo's choice to fight him is another example of the champion avoiding tougher challenges. Canelo's previous matchups, including those against a faded Gennady Golovkin, a limited John Ryder, and a naturally smaller Jermell Charlo, have led to accusations that the Mexican icon is deliberately sidestepping the most dangerous fighters in his division. Benavidez doesn't sell, Morrell doesn't sell, Berlanga stated in an interview with Boxing Scene responding to the backlash. They don't have that superstar status that I have. They don't have that power. I have a country behind me. I have Puerto Rico behind me, and I got the hip-hop culture behind me. I know that's why Canelo picked me, because we're going to sell, but we're also going to fight, and it's going to be a good fight. Berlanga's confidence in his ability to attract viewers and sell the fight is evident, but it hasn't silenced the critics who are disappointed that Canelo continues to avoid Benavidez, who has been his WBC mandatory challenger for nearly 2 years. The choice to fight Berlanga instead of Benavidez or Morrell, the WBA regular champion, has only added fuel to the fire, with many fans feeling that Canelo's recent matchups have been lackluster and uninspiring. The criticism, however, doesn't seem to bother Berlanga, who believes that his unique combination of cultural appeal and fighting skills makes him the perfect opponent for Canelo at this stage in his career. Berlanga points out that his connection to Puerto Rico and the hip-hop culture gives him a level of star power that neither Benavidez nor Morrell can match, making him an attractive choice for a high-profile fight. But Berlanga's rise to the top hasn't been without its challenges. After a sensational start to his career, knocking out his first 16 opponents in the first round, Berlanga hit a rough patch, going the distance in 5 consecutive fights before returning to knockout form earlier this year against Padraig McCrory. Critics have questioned whether Berlanga has what it takes to compete at the highest level, especially against a seasoned veteran like Canelo. Despite the doubts surrounding him, Berlanga remains confident in his abilities and is determined to prove his worth on the biggest stage. Reflecting on Canelo's recent performances, Berlanga dismissed the idea that the Mexican champion is in decline. "I don't see decline in Canelo," Berlanga said. "Canelo was Canelo. Munguia is a guy who throws a lot of punches and doesn't really use his IQ. If he had used his IQ a lot more, the outcome would have probably been different. I think Canelo will be in the best shape and in the best form for this fight, and it's going to be fireworks that weekend." Berlanga knows that facing Canelo will be the toughest challenge of his career, but he is eager to show that he's more than just a stepping stone for the champion. He believes that his evolving skill set and hunger to improve will be the keys to success in this fight. What's dangerous about me is that I'm not the same fighter that I was for my last fight, Berlanga explained. I'm still a mystery to Canelo. Every fight I'm getting better and better. These guys at that level, they plateau. They stay stagnant. Me? I'm 27 years old, but I'm still a sponge in the gym, and I'm still growing, and I'm still not at my full potential. I'm gonna give everything I've got and make history on September 14th. Berlanga's words reflect the confidence of a young fighter on the brink of a career-defining moment. While the odds may be stacked against him, he is determined to seize the opportunity and make a statement in the ring. For Berlanga, this fight isn't just about winning a world title. It's about proving that he belongs among the elite in the super middleweight division and that he has the potential to be a superstar in his own right.
Best part. That's the best part. It's cool. It's cool. Because I'm going to embrace all of that. He gonna respect my game that night for sure, 100%.
Well, what do you think of all this? Do you think we might be seeing an end between Bernard and Oscar? And do you think Berlanga has what it takes to defeat Canelo? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.